Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. And you already know, MOTB, right? And you know the precepts that go with it, you know what I mean? Because we talking to the elect, you know what I mean? But for the others that haven't came in the fold yet, you know, Revelations 13, 16, 17, around those verses, you know, it speaks about the mark of the beast. You know, we know that the MOTB know. I'm speaking this way because I gotta be careful of how I speak on YouTube for you know people that's just coming into the fold. But you know the MOTB, and you know what it is, the C hip. You know what I mean? Because for some reason videos been getting taken down, like, and they saying that it's certain information, and the reason why the videos getting taken down, but the videos don't have nothing to do about those information. It's nothing, you know, that has to do with that information, the M word before information, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I've been seeing that happen a lot, you know, and now I'm seeing why. And the reason why is because of what's coming, you know what I mean? And we see it coming fast now. So this is 267, so that's billion, right? If I'm reading that correctly, yeah, 267 billion, which is a crazy amount of money, right? It says, because that's how much the bank has, and it says to abolish. This has nothing to do with the hospital or that type of field. This is bank. This has nothing. This is only talking about banking system. Like, damn, we can't talk about the banking system no more. So it says to abolish cash, warns customers to prepare for massive digital overload. So they saying, look, we finna do away with cash, and we're finna come with a massive digital overload. I mean, everything's gonna be digital. All transactions gonna be digital. Now the crazy thing about this is I got a testimony to this because I bank with a certain bank. Now my bank has different branches, so it has a couple branches that use cash, but they have one branch. And I remember it was downtown. I stumbled into this one branch. You know, it's my first time going into this branch that was downtown, and I tried to get some cash out, you know, going to the actual teller, and she told me that they were cashless. Now they had an ATM machine. You know, ATM machine might have a limit of $500,000 for a daily withdrawal. So that's the most you could take out the ATM machine. But actually going up to the teller and trying to get, because I was trying to get a lot more than that out the bank, you know, she told me they were cashless and they couldn't do it. And I'm like thinking to myself, scratching my head, like, well, how could a bank be cashless? Like, what's the point if you even be here? How are you even still open if you're cashless? But now that was a while ago, so there's already institutions that already been running this way. But now what they're saying is more banks are finna start being cashless banks, and you already know what it's going into. It's going into Revelations 13, man. Because when all these banks, little by little, you know, you're gonna see Chase Bank, you're gonna see PNC, you're gonna see US Bank, you're gonna start seeing all these major banks go cashless, and then you're gonna have few here and there that still uses cash. But eventually, they're all going to be cashless, right? Because they're going to be incentivized to go cashless. And the ones that haven't went cashless, you know how the government's going to treat them. You know, when they come out with bailouts and help and stuff like that, those ones aren't going to be able to get help. So that's how the government controls these institutions, man. So eventually what it's going to do, everything's going to be cashless. And then when everything's cashless, and you're not using cash anymore, all you're going to be able to use is your cell phone, right? Your cell phone to do transactions, which I talked to a person, and that same person was like, yeah, I don't use cash anyways. They said, because I sent this to them, they was like, yeah, I already don't use cash. I just use my phone and you know, different apps like Cash App and stuff like that on my phone, right? So people already are programmed and conditioned for what's coming to accept it. And then especially like with the economy being so horrible right now, if they come out with some type of help to help people right now, everybody's broke, people can't pay the rent, people can't, if they come out with some type of help and say, look, man, everybody got horrible credit, if they come back and say, look, we're going to clear everybody's credit and everybody's going to get a clean slate, but you have to pretty much adhere to this new system, man, people are going to take that easily. See, that's why they're letting people suffer right now, so they could come, it's order out of chaos, so they could come with a solution, man. So when you're suffering, everybody's getting behind, and the prices of cars is getting too high, and inflation is all out of whack, and they let you suffer a year, 2 years, and the American dream is pretty much over with, and nobody has no money, and everybody's begging for the government to come help, then they're going to be more accepting of the new system that the government's coming with. People going to say, man, it's been hard for too long. Shit, let me take the MOTB then. Let me go ahead and take it so I could feed my family, get money. They gonna start my credit with a clean slate. You know what I mean? This is gonna help us get past inflation. You know what I mean? So people are gonna, man, what I see is when they really come hard pushing this, people are gonna accept it easy. Most of the world's gonna accept it easily, without a fight. You know what I mean? Us that's not gonna accept it, that's not gonna take it, we're gonna be very, very rare. Like the Bible says, like 10 should be left in the city. That's how rare he is. It might be 10 in the city that's not accepting this. 10 in the city of 1 million people that's not accepting this system. That's how rare it is. And then we're going to have to band together in order to survive. And then that's when you're going to get that remnant that's going to be saved, that's going to be led out into the wilderness. That's what I believe is going to happen. You're going to get us. We're going to have to put aside our differences. Because right now we can all just talk shit about each other and go to our own YouTube channels where we got our supporters that's going to back up everything we say. Duh. You know what I mean? We all could do that, just talk shit about each other on YouTube all day. Because at the end of the day, we got to get off YouTube and then we all got our own real lives. But when those real lives are threatened, then what? That's why it says in Matthew, those that shall lose their life shall find life, and those that pretty much that shall should try to keep their life is going to lose their life. Roughly paraphrasing, right? Which not saying that those that die are going to actually live again. It's not saying that. What it's saying is those that's not willing to give up their lifestyle for this, it's going to end up losing their lives anyways. And those that are willing to give up their lifestyle, because when the temptation comes, those that are not going to take the C-hip, right, they should actually find life, because what? They're going to be saved. It's going to be in the form of salvation. You see what I'm saying? So I believe when and that's why we get happy when we see these things coming, because that means the time is coming, you know, for our Lord to return. So I believe that's going to happen, and you're going to get a group of Israelites that's going to band together, that's not going to take the MOTB or this new system. They're going to have to band together just to survive, and the Lord's going to lead that group into the wilderness, just like he did in Egypt, right? In the book of Exodus, right? And then that's when the Lord's going to plead with us, and the Lord's going to show us his salvation, right? He's going to separate the sheep from the goat. It says that in Matthew, I believe that's 25, right? And then he's going to show his salvation, and then that's when the kingdom's going to come after that, right? So we getting closer and closer to that time. They're finna start shutting us out. See, Esau don't have to send agents to infiltrate our group. Now, do he got people watching the groups? Yes, he got people watching the groups, right? Just to make sure we're not doing nothing or getting out of control. But he don't have to send an agent to watch our groups or to join the groups. He don't have to do those things. He already has a plan for us. He's gonna shut us out of the economy. The ones of us that's speaking against his system, he's just gonna shut us out the economy, right? So when these banks start all going cashless, people are going to be using their phones, of course. But then at the same time, they're going to come with new technologies. See what Elon Musk is doing? With the Nero chip, they're going to come with these new technologies, and one of them is going to be in your hand, right? And then you're going to be able to use that instead of using your phone. You know, you got to get on your phone every time you want to send money. You got to type in this card number or swipe a card or type in his name. They're going to make it so easy where, boom, you got it in your hand and you just scan. Boom, pay. You already see it in some stores with the whole fingerprint thing. So they're going to start doing those things, biometrics, right? And coming out with different technologies. And the world's going to take, because you don't have to just take the mark of the MOTB is the C-hip. But it also talks about the barcodes. It talks about the number of his name, which goes to 666, which goes into Mystery Babylon Great, the harlot, you know, breaks down in Revelation 17, which also goes into spiritually, the WWW World Wide Web, which breaks down to 666, because all this digital stuff is going to be a part of the internet of all things, because you need internet. You can't, if you don't have internet, you can't go and scan your hand and pay for something without internet. You have to have something on internet. Now, if your phone don't have internet, but you got a barcode on it, but whatever device you're using to scan your phone, that has to be hooked up to the internet. Then the process, the transaction can be processed. So all this stuff, you need internet, right? So the internet of all things, everything's going to be hooked up to the internet. That way, you could become a perpetual slave to the system, because they could track everything, right? And then they have control over everything, and they can manipulate everything. They could cut you off if you come out and say, I'm an Israelite, and you don't say the people over there in the land are the true Jews. They could cut you off at that point and make you suffer at that point. You see what I'm saying? So this is going to get power to them, and it's so great. And it's not even a bad thing. It's a good thing, because this is the Lord's will. And you want to know why? Because it's going to separate those that it's going to choose to follow man, which are the Edomites that at the head of that. That's who's ruling this world right now, right? That was the promise that was given to Esau in Genesis 27, right? It's going to separate those that want to follow Esau, that loves Esau. Man, can white people be saved? They don't care about Asians, mother. Just couldn't the white people be saved? So it's going to separate those that's following his philosophies, his doctrine, his way of life, the image of the beast, his ways of life. And then it's going to separate those that from those that want to follow the Lord in the Bible as it is written, in the way that the Lord told us we should live. It's going to be a great separation. But this is the problem that a lot of brothers is not understanding. Majority is going to be on that side of following Esau. Yeah, it's not going to be no 50-50 split. Well, you got half of the country that wants to follow Lord and half of the country that wants to follow Esau. No, majority is going to follow Esau. And even brothers that's in the truth are going to flip. Even brothers that's in the truth, that's been out on the highways and byways for 10, 15 years pushing the truth, they're going to flip, and they're going to take that, I got to come up with my own little word for it, man. I don't know. I gotta come up with something later. You know what I mean? But they're gonna take that. Let's just say that stick. They're gonna take that stick, man. They're gonna take that, or just say the Quran. There you go. Yeah, the Quran. They're gonna take the Quran. If you know what I'm talking about, they're gonna drink of that cup, because it's not just taking that Quran. It's drinking of the cup too. Even if you don't take it, but you following the whole system, and you're following Esau, you still could not be a part of the elect. And you following his way of life, you still cannot be a part of the elect. So it's even more than that, right? But you're gonna see a lot of camp leaders that's gonna tell their congregations, go ahead and take it, and they all gonna perish for it. You know, they gonna follow their camp leaders into a ditch, blindly follow them. You gonna have some individuals that's gonna say, I just can't do this no more, that's gonna give up and take it, right? And then you're gonna have most of the world that's gonna take, especially in America, all the Edomites are gonna take it. And then they gonna provoke all the Israelites that want to be with them, accept it, and be a part of them to take it. All your athletes are gonna go take it. Some of them gonna fight, some of them gonna be against it for a little bit, just like Cam Newton, just like Nick Cannon, just like Kyrie, and then they gonna end up folding. And what that does is, when you see them against it and you standing with them saying, yeah, I'm gonna stand up because Kyrie stood up and be against, and then when he fold, that's gonna make your faith weak, and then that's gonna make you fold. See, that's why it says in Jeremiah, don't put your strength in man, in arm. Put your strength in the Lord, man. Don't put your strength in flesh, roughly paraphrased. Put your strength in the Lord, man. Because if you putting all your faith in a man, like let's just say a man is a leader of your camp, and you putting all your faith in him, if he perishes, something happens to him, or if he takes it, or if he come out and just takes a bag and sell out and say, okay, it's cool for you to go ahead and take it, then you're going to take it based on what he did. So you got to put your faith in the Lord, man. And that's the difference. So we going to see everybody get tested, man. And I can't wait, because it's coming soon. As you see, this was like, I didn't get the date, but this was like a couple days ago. So go look this up yourself. They come in. It says they're going to abolish cash. 267 billion. That's one bank. That's a big bank. That's a big, powerful money bank when you talk about billions like that. And they're going to go all cash. So they do business with other banks. That's how banking works, man. So you think their allies, the ones they doing business with, the ones that they damn near fund and own, because banks fund banks. You think that they're... So if this one bank is going cashless, then another 10, 20, 50, 100 banks that this bank deal with, they're going to go cashless with it. They move in units, man. They move together. So it's coming, man. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing. We waiting for it. Man, it's finna be tough, man. When they go cashless, you know, you're going to be using your phone. You're going to be using your phone and everything to live and do your cash. But you're going to see the restrictions that it's going to give you. You're not going to be able to move as freely as you can now with being able to use cash to pay for things. And that's going to crunch down on us. That's going to make things harder on us. And then when they start targeting us, and they're going to be able to target us because because everything's cashless. So in order for you to move around, you're leaving behind a trail, a digital footprint that they can follow, to find you, to see where you at, see your tendencies, see what you're doing. Just for you to get down to camp, you know, you got to put gas in your car. They going to be able to track those if they come target us and look for us. So eventually you're going to have to put the phone down or you're going to get caught, especially when they start targeting us. So I believe that they're doing this like this, right? They're going to go fully cashless. They're going to get most of the world to take the new system, let's say it that way. And then they're going to demonize us in some type of way, some false flag attack. And then they're going to start coming after us. And then that's when the Lord is going to intervene, and he's going to lead a remnant out for safety into the wilderness. Then the Lord is going to plead with us there, just like he did with our fathers. You know, and the Bible talks about that. So you guys got to understand the timeline that's what's going to happen. Then some part after that time, nuclear missiles are going to start falling. Some around the time we go in the wilderness, and after that time, nuclear missiles are going to start falling. But the whole world's not going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles. So then you're going to have the elect that was saved, that was changed in a twinkling of an eye, come back with the Lord to set up the kingdom. And when we come back, there's going to be war in the heavens. They're going to fight against us. We going to win. We going to come down to earth. People, different countries that's still around, going to resist. Some are going to give in, and we're going to be setting up kingdom. And that's going to be kingdom. So that's the timeline of how these things are going to happen, you know. So, coming soon, you know. So with that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Hold on.